Isak is a hot topic at the moment, Carl, because it looks like he would quite like to leave Newcastle. Newcastle trying to dig in their heels. But also Liverpool shifting on Luiz Díaz to create some cash. Do you see Isak ending this window at Anfield?
Maybe. I think Alexander Isak is one of the best strikers in Europe, if not the world. I think Newcastle would very much want to keep him, and I think the fact that he's got 3 years left on his contract means Liverpool are going to have to pony up at least 125 million before they can begin the discussion there. From what I hear from the Liverpool side, the sale of Luiz Díaz plus the possible sale of Darwin Núñez, who's of interest to Napoli and some clubs in Saudi Arabia, might be able to help fund that. But I think it's a little likely that Isak stays for one more season in Newcastle, and then there might possibly be interest from a club like, say, Barcelona, who will probably need to replace Rowan Lewandowski next summer. Jonathan Wilson piece is excellent. I've been writing about the rise of the return of the big man striker since 2021. There's a piece I did on The Athletic calling Isak a footballing unicorn, in that he's 6'4", and yet he's able to dribble like he's 5'7".
Footballing unicorn, I quite like that. If you could only have one of those.
Back to Isak, I mean, am I right in thinking he's got 3 years left on his deal at Newcastle? So if they dig their heels in, then it's going to be tough for him to go. So has he got to kind of force things a little bit his end as well? And is it a case of Eddie Howe not wanting to keep an unhappy player? We've seen this kind of thing play out before, but they won't want to lose him, and Liverpool are going to have to spend a lot to get him.
It's going to be a really difficult situation for Newcastle if Alexander Isak makes it concrete that he really wants to leave and submits a transfer request. That's when things could potentially accelerate. But for Newcastle, it's been a really difficult summer so far. They got Anthony Elanga through the door, but there's been a number of players they've tried to sign they haven't been able to. The likes of Brian Mbeumo, João Pedro, James Trafford. They got the money there, but Man City are going to get James Trafford now as well. And Isak is a player that they'd be looking for around 120 to 150 million pounds to let him go this summer. But of course, if Alexander Isak makes it very clear he wants to depart and he doesn't want to play for the club, then it makes Newcastle, it puts them in a really difficult situation whereby potentially they would have to take less money for a player that doesn't want to be there anymore. That's not the case. That's not what we understand. Our understanding is that he has a slight injury, but he does want to explore his options outside Newcastle in this transfer window. So we wait to see what happens. I think it remains unclear if he's played his last game for Newcastle or he'll see out those 3 years on a very lucrative deal.
Been an update on Luiz Díaz's departure from Liverpool. What can you tell us?
Yeah, we know he's departing Tokyo today and he's set to have a medical at Bayern Munich tomorrow. That's our understanding from our colleagues at Sky in Germany. Liverpool didn't want to sell him in this transfer window. They made that clear to Bayern Munich, but Bayern Munich wouldn't take no for an answer, and Liverpool have reluctantly accepted a bid of around £65.5 million. Diaz made it clear to Liverpool that he wanted to depart, so did his representatives, and he was very open in the media, speaking on international duty in June, that the club weren't going to give him a 2-year contract, to extend his contract at Liverpool, and that he was willing to talk to other clubs. And that is the case right now, where he's got an opportunity to play for the German champions. He's going to sign a 4-year contract with the option of a further year. His deal at Liverpool had 2 years left on it. Liverpool, I think, tried to extend that contract. That's our understanding in the last 24 hours or so. That didn't come to anything. So for a 28-year-old with 2 years left on his contract, this does really represent market value for Liverpool. A player who's given great service, arguably had his best season for Liverpool last year. So he's going to be departing the Premier League champions for the Bundesliga champions, and Liverpool are set to get some decent money from him as well.
I'm ready for a new challenge. I'm open to trying something new. Bayern Munich is a huge club. It's an institution in the world of football. And this may be the right chance for me at the age of 28 now for me to move on and try other things. And of course, Liverpool have made a number of signings in those attacking areas over the course of this summer. So maybe he was thinking game time might not be quite as much as I'd like, particularly when you're fighting against the likes of Hugo Ekitike and Florian Wirtz, who in a combined package are around £200 million of outlay for Liverpool. He probably thought, actually, now is the right time for me to move on.
Bayern have agreed a deal with Liverpool for around £65.5 million for the winger. He is set to sign a 4-year contract. That includes an option for a further year. Liverpool were hesitant about losing Diaz, but he's made it clear that he wanted to join Bayern after previously indicating his desire to leave Anfield last summer.
Liverpool will take on Japanese side Yokohama Marinos in a pre-season friendly in Tokyo tomorrow. Hugo Ekitike could make his debut after his £79 million move from RB Leipzig. Alexis McAllister could also play. He missed the final 2 games of the last campaign and hasn't featured in the friendlies this summer due to injury. The game against Yokohama is Liverpool's final game of their Asia tour. They face Athletic Club in their final pre-season match. That's at Anfield next Monday.
Right! Ready, water? Right! Left! Okay, guys, try not to make the angles too easy. Try to meet them and then make a side move. Left!
Oh, we done?
Oh, yeah!
Marc Guehi, could he be heading to Anfield?
Possibly. I think this is the time where he will depart Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Any player that's won the FA Cup is going to be a club legend for Crystal Palace. There's no doubt about that. He's obviously highly regarded in the England setup, and Palace are already looking at his replacement. We told you yesterday, Ousmane Diamonde is a player Oliver Glasner would like to bring in. But look, it's an interesting one with Marc Guehi because I mean, Mark and I were on the transfer show last year talking about bid after bid after bid from Newcastle United. Big money as well, but Steve Parish and Crystal Palace knocked it back every time because they wanted to have a good season. You know what? They had a really good season. They won the FA Cup. So they're not going to get 70 million this summer. Maybe, 35, 40 you might be talking about. But that's one very much to keep an eye on. And I'm sure Crystal Palace will wish him all the very best if he does move on this summer.
All right, boys. Did you enjoy the session? Huh? Can't speak anymore? When are you playing? Yes? You excited for tomorrow? I've heard they got a lot of fans coming, isn't it? You guys nervous or you'll be fine? Going hard already? Right. You gonna win? Better be. Represent Liverpool, you know. Ça va? Bonjour. Bon français? Yeah, you can play with them, huh? Huh?